And now joining me here on a Big Ten Network chat, the new head coach of the University of Minnesota men's basketball team, Ben Johnson. Congratulations, Ben. It's interesting. I think nationally, this name sort of came out of left field, but for those that follow the Big Ten, certainly those that follow Minnesota basketball, they knew who you were. When Richard Pitino and Minnesota parted ways, at what point did you lock in and say, you know what, I want this job?
That's a great question. I really got to thinking, after Coach Pitino took New Mexico, and I knew that was kind of the route he was going to go. The wheels started spinning, and the process started to begin. And I wasn't afraid to go out and put myself out there. I think jobs they're hard to get, and trust me, I'm humbled to be here. I know there's a lot of guys that could be sitting in this chair right now talking to you. But I was willing to go through the process. I wanted to go through the process because for me, Andy, this is a dream job. This is a job that growing up as a little kid in South Minneapolis, I viewed as the job. And so to be able to sit here today is unbelievable and couldn't be more excited.
So I thought you made a great point at your news conference about Matt Painter, Purdue player, Purdue head coach. Tom Izzo, not a Michigan State player, but from the state, from the UP, state of Michigan's in his blood. Minnesota's in your blood. And for the most part, Minnesota hasn't gone down this road to take one of its own. How did you convince them, you know what, the time is right to do this?
Yeah, I mean, I firmly believe that. I think, we have a new president who is unbelievable, whose vision aligns with Mark Coyle's, which aligns with mine. I think the state of Minnesota, if there was going to be a change, why not? That's my question. Why not try something new? Why not try something different? I think that, throughout my career, I've tried to do the right thing to put myself in position to take advantage of an opportunity like this. I've tried to recruit the state the right way, develop relationships the right way. And at the end of the day, obviously, try to land and secure good enough players to help this program win. So I'm not saying I'm Tom Izzo, and by no means am I Matt Painter, but I look at those guys and I see the blueprint. I think when you watch Purdue basketball, you know what a Purdue player looks like. And I think, Payne's done a great job with molding that program. They have unbelievable success, unbelievable amount of respect for him and how they play and how they go about things. And the same thing for Coach Izzo. I think those guys embody that state. They embody the university. They embody the league. And that's something we kind of want to be a model after and conduct ourselves in a very similar way.
All right. So what will that look like? How are we going to know that's a Ben Johnson player? That's a Minnesota player. How are we going to know that?
I think a lot of that comes with being able to land, our top in-state players, because I think those guys perform and play the way that I want to play. Their styles and our styles are very similar. Skilled, aggressive, physical, know how to play, know how to make shots, know how to make reads, have that grit, have that fire, that tenacity. I think skill is such a highly rated value that we have to really emphasize when it comes to recruiting, guys that can dribble, pass, and shoot. As easy as that sounds, you'd be surprised. And if you can shoot the basketball, if your team has feel, that's key. But I think more importantly, it's guys that want to be here. It's guys that have a passion and a fire for Minnesota basketball, that have a fire to play at Williams Arena, that have a fire to put on the maroon and gold. Those guys are the guys I want to attract, where they bleed it. And we need to start that at a young age, where kids grow up in the state bleeding to be a Gopher. They want to, they're dying to put on the maroon and gold and follow us and come to games and create that kind of environment, that family attitude and atmosphere throughout the entire state, like a Michigan State and like a Purdue kind of has.
So I don't know if I'm helping you out here, but I want to just state this as fact, that it's okay if you don't get every great player in Minnesota, because there's been a lot of them. And I've never been part of that chorus of people and saying that, oh, you got to keep everyone home. And because you don't know every situation, not you, but in general, of whether or not someone needs to leave home, wants to leave home, wants to do something different. And that's natural. It's human nature. if a
Yeah.
dude comes through and they want to play at a different place and travel the country, that's totally understandable. But obviously you need to get some, but you don't need to get them all. And I think that's an important distinction that needs to be said, whether you're Minnesota, you're Illinois, Iowa, I don't care, that it's not always about getting everyone because that's unrealistic. I'm just also curious, you did leave and you went to Xavier and now you're back, but what was the reasoning as to say, you know what, I'm going to go and work with someone else and at least experience a different conference?
Yeah, I think to answer your first question, I do believe that you want to try to get the best players for your program at that time. And sometimes that could be positionally. If there's not a need, it's hard to take a kid that's a high-level player, as highly recruited as some of these players are, if there's no need. So I think people got to understand, we can't take everybody. Obviously, we'd love to, but you can't take everybody. You got to take the ones that are right at that time, that have a passion for this university, that want to be here. And we're going to recruit everybody the same. I mean, we're going to be, full blast. We're going to try to do it the right way. We're going to be thorough, consistent, and we'll hope over time that it does open windows and doors and possibilities to maybe get kids that we haven't been able to get in the past. And a lot of that obviously stems from winning. We've got to put the product on the floor that people are attracted to and that win enough at a high enough level where the Dukes and the Kentuckys can't just come in here and take kids. And that's on us. We got to do our job on the court. And to answer your second question, for me, it was an opportunity to learn and grow from a program that I think has national relevance. Xavier basketball is a brand. It's a different league. It's recruited different. The style of play is different. The coaching is different. It's a different pace. And so as now a head coach, I can kind of take high-level basketball from a different point of view and implement that in my program, and maybe have a different style of play and implement that in my program that's maybe different from the Big Ten or a traditional Big Ten style of play, and be a little bit different. Be able to see recruiting from more of maybe an East Coast or a down or Southeast way. Being able to kind of be versatile and not just be in one place. And I think that adds value to hopefully what we do here, and hopefully adds some value and some strengths to me as a head coach.
And lastly, Ben, I said this on the set when I was there, during the first couple of rounds. I talked about your hire, and I told this to Kenny Smith and Charles Barkley on the Turner set, that what I love about this sort of coaching carousel is that there's been an effort to diversity hires quality and qualified Black head coaches, especially assistant coaches. And I made sure I said qualified. Yeah. And I think that's important. But let's also be honest here that this needed to happen. And I'm just curious your thoughts on your hire as an assistant, as a person of color, and we're seeing it around the country, not just obviously at Minnesota and even at Penn State.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I appreciate you bringing that up. I appreciate you drawing attention to it, because it is kind of the elephant in the room. And I do think the Big Ten has made efforts recently to make a change in that area. Coming from the Big East, I think we had the most minority head coaches in the country from a power conference. So there is growth. I do think that hopefully the higher ups, whether that's search committees, whether that's ADs, presidents, they're understanding that there's a lot of value and it's not just a certain demographic. And we're giving chances now. Like, I get it. There's a lot of people that could be sitting where I'm sitting. So I'm very fortunate. I'm also very fortunate that I have administration that didn't look at me as, a Black assistant, that looked at me as a qualified, deserving head coach that happens to be a coach of color. And it's something I take a lot of pride in. I don't shy away from it. I wear it with a badge of honor. And now, honestly, it's my job to have success so that I can open the door for the next guy, so that I can open eyes to administration, search firms that, there's a lot of qualified assistant coaches and maybe even lower or mid level coaches that can coach at any level and be successful. And so I think we're taking steps in the right direction. I really do. I want to thank everybody that just brings awareness to it. because I think it's something that if we address the right way and we do get all deserving and qualifying applicants in positions of power, that you'll see success, and I think that'll translate down. And like I said, I just want to do my part, whatever that is, to help the next guy, to help that next generation, whether that's a male coach or a female coach, progress in this profession and prove that there's a lot of very deserving coaches to be that can be head coaches.
Ben, I appreciate it. Welcome to the Big Ten, or back to the Big Ten, I should say,
Yep.
And look forward to watching Minnesota and talking to you over the next foreseeable future.
No problem. Thanks, Andy.